The Matrix Resurrections trailer was released in the middle of my bloody holiday, but you amazing people gave me my highest spike in views in the entire history of Jam Punch, so thank you. This video will generate a more formal list of wonderings that jumped out at us during my frame-by-frame analysis video. So let's go through a quick summary of the unanswered questions from the Matrix Resurrections trailer. Firstly, if you haven't watched my frame-by-frame analysis video of the Matrix Resurrections trailer, then please tap in the top right corner right now to watch that before you watch this. Why is the city looking more warm and more realistic? So if you remember from the entire Matrix trilogy, you have the Matrix world looking very green and fake and computer-like, and the real world looking very blue and cold. Those were deliberate colour choices because they basically kind of contrast to each other, but it also says, this is computer, this is real life. At the end of the Matrix Revolutions, we see that the truce leads to a new Matrix being created that's got this nice golden sunset. It's exactly what we're seeing here in the trailer. Do some characters have colours visible for their allegiance? Now I mentioned this in my video because you can see this therapist character, played by Neil Patrick Harris, has blue glasses. We see this other character has red glasses. We see this guy who we think is Morpheus has red clothes. Again and again we see blue hair in this other character. Who are these green-eyed people? Now this is a much more major question, because we have never seen this before in the entire Matrix universe, whether that's the games, the films, the comics, whatever. We've seen red-eyed people, as in the Red Eye agents in the Matrix Online. These are the more kind of vicious agents that are created after the Matrix Revolutions. But no, these are different. These are green-eyed people. Who the hell are they? Next question is a much more major one as well. Are these little robots healing Neo's body? I mean, if you remember the Matrix Revolutions, Neo's body being left there in the machine city, it's left to die basically, but he's still wearing clothes. The machines come along and they pick it up and they drag it along. But here, in the trailer of the Matrix Resurrections, we're seeing that he's naked and there are these little robots going over his bodies with lasers, seemingly healing his cuts and bruises. Are they healing his body to be put back into a pod? Are they healing his body to be given back to the humans? We don't know. Next question, I suppose this is a minor one. Is that Morpheus? You know, we've all kind of read all the rumours and stuff. It looks like this actor is playing a young Morpheus, and seemingly Lawrence Fishburne wasn't actually contacted in the first place to get involved in this film, so it looks like this guy is Morpheus. Next question, a major one really. Are there multiple universes, or are there just the same events being played in multiple ways? Now this question is referencing this shot we see of Trinity in this green room wearing the leather suit thing, because it's the exact same movement that happens in the Matrix 1. However, she looks a little bit different. Now this would kind of explain the differences in, outfits that we've seen in a couple Animatrix films. For example, in World Record, we see the agents wearing much different, more kind of stylish, strange, futuristic clothes, rather than the black suit with black tie. Here's another kind of major question that we got from the trailer. Is there a special pod made for Neo after the Matrix Revolutions? This big red pod thing. I mean, we can see later on in the trailer that Neo is in a pod. Is it a more powerful pod? Is it one that's connected to his own Matrix, his own kind of construct? Next question, and again another major one. Were Neo and Trinity reinserted into their own pods, and why? Because that's certainly what it bloody looks like. We see that Trinity has got this new pod with a new kind of plastic neck plug rather than a head plug in her body in this shot over here. But why? Why are they in their own pods, and why have they been reinserted? Next question, is Neo still a programmer like he was in The Matrix 1? Now this is just a minor thing, but this shot here where we see Neo in the bath with a rubber duck on his head, that could be a reference to this thing called rubber duck debugging. Thank you to Avon T for pointing this out on my last video, by the way. It's a system of kind of simplification that programmers do, where when they kind of create some new code, they explain it line by line, simply to an imaginary rubber duck. That could be a sign that Neo is still a programmer. Next question, and this is a minor one because it's probably quite obvious really, why don't Neo and Trinity know each other? Now I imagine we'll find out within 5 minutes of the Matrix Resurrections, but still it's a question we need to consider. Next question, and this is a major one, why are blue pills being prescribed by doctors or whoever? This is a major thing here. We haven't had that before. In The Matrix 1, of course, we see that Morpheus has the option to give people the red pill or the blue pill. Here, they're being given just out in the open by doctors and therapists. Why the hell is that? Could that be because all the doctors and all these people are agents and they're trying to keep people sucked into the Matrix for as long as possible? And that leads me on to my next question. Is this whole Matrix that we're seeing here just for Neo and Trinity? Remember, the way that the Matrixes are constructed is literally anything can happen, which means if they want to make a Matrix world that's more cartoony, more perfect, more polished, the machines can do that. And that would explain why the therapists are simply giving Neo all these blue pills out in the open. Next question, a minor one, it's probably quite obvious. Is this light door thing the exact same technology as the Keymaker's doors from The Matrix Reloaded? It probably is. I mean, that makes sense if you've got a program that can go from place to place to place within a computer. So therefore, I imagine it's the same thing. Next question, this is a major point. Is this city Zion that's been destroyed? Remember that the architect says they've destroyed Zion 5 times before. We never actually got clarity as to what that exactly meant. When they say destroy Zion, does that mean that he simply killed all the humans within Zion? Or does it mean that they literally destroyed Zion and then created a brand new Zion 100 miles away? You know, we don't know. There could be 5 different Zions underground in different countries on planet Earth, and this could be one of them. And if so, this is pretty major, because a hovercraft floating around a destroyed Zion basically reveals the architect's entire plan to human survivors. And here we go, this is probably the most major question of the entire analysis video that I made. What the hell is up with this clip from The Matrix being shown within The Matrix Resurrections trailer? Does that mean that the machines have been watching the film or something? Like, were they watching The Matrix Part 1? This is some crazy meta stuff, and it really needs to be answered within The Matrix Resurrections, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Next question, I suppose it's a bit more minor. Are Neo and Morpheus inside Deus Ex Machina? Remember, Deus Ex Machina is that giant metal face that happens at the end of Matrix Revolutions. Well, look at this building here. It looks like the text says Deus Ex Machina. Does that mean that this building they're in is a kind of computer representation of all of these tiny robots? Another minor question, is there an edge of the Matrix that Morpheus smashes through at the end of the trailer? Because we see he smashes through and all these green Matrix Code style shards fly everywhere. Is it going to be a kind of end of the world situation? Like, you know, like pirates would think ships would float off the end of the ocean? And the last question is again a major one. Who are these people hunting Neo with the green eyes? This is a massive thing. Is this some kind of like leftover code from Agent Smith? Some kind of leftover virus code? I know that, heartbreakingly, Hugo Weaving couldn't actually be in The Matrix Resurrections, which is just terrible because, Agent Smith is one of the best things about the entire trilogy. So does this mean that these people are kind of leftover Smith little viruses or something like that? We don't know. So here are my top unanswered questions from the Matrix Resurrections trailer. Do you have any other questions? Please tell me below and I'd love to read them. Thank you for watching there, everybody. If it was a help to you and you really liked learning about the Matrix lore, then please subscribe to Jam Punch and I'll be releasing a brand new Matrix Explained video every single week. My name is George, this is Jam Punch, and I'll see you next time.